Hello, back again. Waiting for you to come in. Ah, hello, is there anybody out there? Ah, we've got two in. Two have noticed. Pain in ass, though. I don't know why it froze up. Hello, bud. Back in, Mick. Lovely. See how else finds we're in. Yeah, so work out who else works out we're here. Hello, Max. Yeah, basically, Mark, you've hit the nail on the head. I had to shut down my other stream because I couldn't find out how to kick in the camera again. Pain in ass. I think it's because I disturbed the camera USB. I think it must have come unconnected and wouldn't connect again. Microphone connected okay, but camera wouldn't. It's a finicky little shit, if I'm honest. Does what it wants. I think I'll get a new camera. Pity really, because it's quite nice. It's pretty clear. Good evening, Andy. Good to have you along. We've just had a cut off and I've come back in again. So, what has everybody been up to this weekend? You should be fantastic with that, CD White Bits. Should be a doddle to find a Scotsman smoke box door. Fantastic. I know we both in same, Mick, but what have you been up to at weekend? Have you been doing any projects in shed or? Welcome back again, Valleys. Good seeing you there. Pain in ass, I don't know what. I'm pretty sure it's because I unplugged the camera. I disturbed it when I went to get them cars. I'll probably be bloody buying it off you, Mark. Knowing me. I've got a Scotsman, but I want the door off it because I'm going to be rebuilding that at some point. Oh, good. I'll have a look at your pics after on Facebook, Mick. I've got about 70 odd photographs to edit from Steam for today. I've got all sorts traction engines, barrel organs, army vehicles, all sorts of shit. Good, it were a good fair it was. I spent a fair bit going round the trade stalls. Back in the room, Matt, indeed. Trip to the tip. It's amazing what you can get there. one time I went to the tip and there was this guy throwing push bikes out, and I looked at him and I went, "Are you throwing that out?" He went, "Yeah." I said, "Can I have it?" He went, "Yeah." I went, "Fantastic." Put it in boot of my sister's car. And my sister says, "You're so embarrassing." I said, "Drive on before tip bobbies get onto you." I said, "Let's get out of it." She said, "Why?" I didn't wash it. I didn't do any repairs to it. I didn't do anything, but it was a rare 1970s Tomahawk Formula 3 that they put 3 gears on. It had alloy wheels instead of spoked wheels. And I'm going back, 20 years ago, when eBay were in its infancy. I put it on eBay, I got 100 quid back for it. 20 years ago, that were. It ended up in your neck of the woods, Mick. It ended up in Ireland, had to post it to Ireland. And you know something, the unbelievable thing is, I posted something like a push bike. It hardly costed anything. And to send a couple of model kits when I sent them, cost a fair bit. They just, I can't weigh up modern day postal costs. They're having a laugh somewhere. It was indeed, Andy T. It was a limited edition in pea green metallic with black and yellow stickers, and it had silver alloy wheels. It had the Sturmey Archer 3-speed on it. It was a nice little push bike. It'd have been, if you'd got that back in the day, your parents had money and you were a spoiled little shit. Because I remember them doing the choppers with derailleur gears. Some limited edition choppers got derailleur gears. DCC fitted, Matt, I don't think. It may have had an Army 01 in it, but I don't. DCC was well too early. Yeah, check out wheels later, mate. Just having a look back, see if. Yeah, you're not kidding. The amount they've shot up. I bet even the reproduction run they did a few years ago now. We're in the 2000s. I bet even they fetch the price now in their own right. They weren't as good as the original choppers. They'd ironed out all the faults and made them right for us health and safety conscious modern world. Yeah, Sturmey Archer were definitely analog. And I don't know who on earth thought of putting the stick shift on the crossbar of the chopper. I tried jumping a chopper once. My mate had a chopper. It nearly took me knackers off on this bloody T-bar cross, like the gear shift on the crossbar were a T-bar. I nearly took me nuts off on it. Yeah, let me think what that was. There was indeed a smaller version of the Grifter was the Boxer, if I remember rightly. Yeah, really, to be honest, if you want a chopper, you want an original one. Yeah, it weren't that far off. Yeah, he weren't that far off, Jesus. Let's just say it stung and I were crying for a bit. I'm probably sterile, that's why I've never got any of my exes up duff. Being blunted by it. Responsible of the rally chopper. I definitely know I yelped like a pup. Yeah, I had back in the day. My own one I had because I liked the bike. I got the Rally Commando. Like that was a cool bike in itself. It had the military writing on it and a commando dagger and stuff. That was quite a cool bike. Finished in black with yellow writing and a red outline on it. Looked very smart. But yeah, you took your hands in your life in your own hands, wheeling and jumping choppers. They weren't meant for landing for sure. Oh yeah, for sure, Andy. It made you yelp like a pup for sure. I've slapped them since. I've slapped them off motorbike tanks as well. If it weren't for me other injuries when I had my bigger accident, I'd probably noticed that I slapped my nuts as well, probably. Because I don't know why they design tanks like they do now, but they have an ump at the back. And there's actually coppers and paramedics, they say their umps at the back of the tank, they've actually taken some off. So I thought, sod it, get an Harley with a teardrop tank. No, I've just been looking at my old bike. My buddy bought it off me. I've just been listening to it purring. Sorry, Martin. Yeah, it's not easy drilling straight when you're laughing, is it? Yeah, yeah. You knew you'd had a decent crash when all your mates were around pointing and laughing at you. I did a few on motorcycles when mates pointed and laughed at me. I did one, I wheelied a motorcycle. I could definitely sing soprano, Mick. Yeah, I wheelied a motorcycle, and when I started off, I were on a concrete paved path, and I crossed over it and went onto a grassed area. And as I crossed over onto grass, I still had power going on, and the back wheel lost traction and kinked over and threw me through a fence and into someone's garden. And look at have it was a friend's garden. And bad luck at have it, it just made a new fence and I took the bike straight through the middle of it. Yeah, if they're out of line, I'm blaming the group chat. Yeah, I'm amazed at how much in line my board is. The two I've got joining, I'm going to be doing a video of it sometime this week, I think. Another add-on to my layout videos, but yeah, I think I'll add on to that. And part 3, I'll probably get that miles out of line just to make up for the one I've got in line. But I'm thinking of having some brackets made to clamp them together anyway, straight. so the track's nice and flush. I'll see. I can put wood or paper shims under the legs to raise it a little bit, get the alignment spot on. Because the thing is, it's not going to be one I'm going to be moving anytime. It's going to be a static permanent layout. So, but it'll be a modular, so you can strip it if need be. But yeah, it should be nice. I'm looking forward getting into it because the hardest bit, the baseboards, are nearly done, and I'm getting the track work into my head. How I'm going to need it, where it's going to need to go. I'm planning together for the building and the lay of the land. Getting photographs together for examples of the building. It's not going to be perfectly exact because I've not got all the reference I need and it's long since gone. DT80, I had a DT50. I'll be honest with you, it's not the first time I've put a bike on its side at traffic lights. My most embarrassing was on a test. I was doing my big bike test and I pulled up at traffic lights and the ground were uneven. And I put my foot down to put on ground and there were no ground under my foot. So the bike got to a certain angle and once a bike gets to a certain angle, a 600cc 4-cylinder, once it gets beyond that angle, you ain't stopping it going over. And it just went thunk on floor. Looking driving examiner behind me. He went, get it to the side of the road and I'll put it on stand and I'll send your instructor back for you. So I went, right, fair enough. And he shot back a bit later, my instructor come. But in between, there was an emergency call out for an ambulance in the houses opposite me. And an emergency ambulance turned up, blue lights flashing and everything. So when my instructor got there, there's me with the bike, the ambulance with blue lights. And he pulls up, he said, he only said you'd fell off. I said, yeah, no. I said, that's over there, don't worry. And then I had to give him my classic line. Did he say if I'd passed or not? He said, what do you think? I went, fair enough. Yeah. I said, it's pretty fair. Once you've crashed a bike on a test, you can pretty much say you've failed. But yeah, that was my first test. First test on a big bike. I put it on its side at traffic lights. Yeah, it just went thunk and under Hornet 600. Nice little bike. Mind you, I was on my training and my instructor said, right, open it up down here, down dual carriageway. So I dropped a gear and put it up on back wheel, shot off down the dual carriageway, pulled up at the bottom, and I just heard over radio in earpiece, me instructor say, and if Paul can wait for us at the bottom, fair goes. Oh, I was stood up. The bike went down on its side, and as it were going down, I flicked the kill switch, so nothing happened. It didn't knock in gear and fly off anywhere if it were revving. So I hit the kill switch and just let it go down. I weren't going to stop it. But yeah, nobody bibbed me, just instructor said, get it off road, wait there and I'll tell you, what do you call it? Not examiner, instructor to come back for me. But yeah, he was famous for it. He was a very strict instructor at Atherton Test Centre for bikes. My actual instructor, he said he were in the wrong job. He should have been airport security where he could have used rubber gloves. He said because he's a sadistic bastard. He hates fail. He loves failing everyone. He said if you pass with him, he said you know you've done your test perfect. And eventually I did pass with him, but my first test I failed because I dropped it on side. Second test I failed for speeding. Third test I was too wary, making sure I weren't speeding, so I got done. Failed me for not making adequate progress. I thought, you arsehole. So fourth test I did everything spot on. But my car test I passed first. That were a piece of piss. Bike test is a lot harder. On his side on. Couldn't get your foot on, of course you wouldn't. It'd be looped through your foot peg. Foot peg could be stuck on ground. So you'd be stuck in. I can just see the picture, Andy. Yeah, I had a DT50. I've give a few bikes away with all the ones I've owned. Oh, if I'm off work, I'm 100% on your live stream, Martin. 100%. I love it. Oh, God, you would have. We had some. My friend owns the driving school I went with the big bike test. And he has some funny stuff there. And let's just say he's a bit outspoken. He's an ex-parachute regiment lad. So he's a bit, let's just say he's a quiet lad. Yeah, right. Yeah, British. I'm trying to think what Brie MF was now. I know I'm trying to remember. I know it from the 80s. It was going in the 80s when I had my little 100cc strokers and stuff. I used to love my little 100cc strokers. How I didn't kill myself on one, I don't know. Back in the 80s though, I had an XS 250. Who needs a license? I just used to ride it. I had an XS 250, a Kawasaki Z200, a Kawasaki KH 250 triple. I had one of them. Had a couple of. Jesus, I love that bike now. Oh, God, hell yeah, Martin. That's it, British Motors. I couldn't think of the initials. I know they were going in the 80s because they did the training and stuff. Tests in 80s. RD200s, I've ridden one of them. Nice little bike. Was it the older RD200 with a rounded tank? Or was it the squarer tank with the speed bars on it? Yeah, anything two-stroke from the 80s now is phenomenal money. If I wanted a KH250, yeah, that's it, coffin tank. What colour did you have? I like the blue with the black and white bars. Anything with RD on costs a fortune now. I did fancy getting hold of an RD 500 till I saw what absolute sheds sold for. RD 250s and 350s are extortionate now. The LCs and the YPVS and stuff. Even Suzuki X7s, because really, if you think about it, they were only lightweight bikes. They weren't built tough. And pretty much all of them got thrashed and bounced up the straight. None of the young lads really looked after them. We used to have one lad, a motorbike shop I worked in, back in the 80s. His nickname was Billy Whiz because he didn't hang about. He had a Suzuki X7. He didn't hang about and he liked Colombian marching powder. And he used to bring his bike in every week because he'd thrown it up the road. We put a clutch label or a brake lever handle on it, more or less every week. And he did it that often, he stopped bothering peeling the price tags off them. He said, there's no point in peeling price tags off and polishing them. I'll only have to do it again next week. And he sold it to the shop I worked with eventually, the X7. And I've got to admit, we had a play on it. I wheelied it up the back street. Suzuki X7s were a good wheelie machine. Very lightweight and a 252 stroke. Colombian marching powder. I believe that, Andy. When we were little whippersnappers, there were no weight in me. Bloody hell, I needed a... Last bike I had was a 600 I managed to lift wheel up on. That's part of the reason I sold it. I was getting too old for shit I was getting up to. I was dropping 2 gears at 60 mile an hour on dual carriageway, winding it back and lifting front wheel up. Then discovering I was running out of road rapidly. So one day I dropped it back down, just got on front. I tapped back brake to get it back down, hit the front brake, started braking, and I just stopped short of me, the back of my mate's bike. He said, "What's you been up to?" I said, "You don't want to know." Yeah, when you're getting onto bigger bikes, a single front disc isn't good. It does unbalance it for braking on bikes. My Phaser 600 were 4-pot, well, 2-pot on each side, double disc brakes, and they did stop it. They did stop it rapid, as I found out a few times. Couple on roundabouts, like zip it back up and hit the brake. One bent, I stopped and I was just out of the driver's door, and she went, "What?" I said, I was on the roundabout. I had priority, love. I said, do you not look for what's on the roundabout? Not as if you can miss it. It's a bright yellow Yamaha with twin headlights on full. So not as if you can miss it. Yeah. But yeah, going back to that, Shedmouth, his nickname was Billy Whiz because his fondness of the old nose talcum powder and his fondness of speed on two-stroke motorbikes. Makes me wonder if he survived. He was funny. Knew a few characters through motorbikes over years. I still know most of them now, if I'm honest. Apart from the ones that have passed on, God bless them. Yeah, they're coming in thick and fast these days. Excellent. That's it, new rubber. No fun. One mistake I made when I was a young pup, I had a little Yamaha YB100 and I went to my old British bike shop. And you're a young pup, you don't think of these things. I needed a back tire and I used to wear them out because I used to hit the brakes and slide it and I used to wheel it, all sorts of stuff. So I wore tyres out quick. So I went to my old British bike shop and I bought an Avon Speedmaster, or as they used to call them, Slipmaster. But the only trouble was I bought a square section tyre that were really made for motorcycle combinations because you didn't have to worry. You didn't need a round section for banking on a combo. It was just a flat tyre. Jesus, that used to slide on corners with add-on. Colombian marching band. Yeah, yeah, it is. Summer stuff. Summer nicknames for stuff. Few Southerners have learnt that off Martin. I think it was Del Boy used it. Could have been. I think he did in one of the episodes. Bad as what is it? Rastafarian Woodbines. Rodney smoking the Rastafarian Woodbines. Used to tickle me. Oh, God, I think the last time I looked at tyres for my motorcycle, if you wanted a good one, they were cracking on £100. Last time I looked, and I've not ridden for 3 years, so I've not really put tyres on a bike for perhaps 4 years because I put a pair of new ones on my Kawasaki 500. So I got two, but they weren't. I think they were Avons I put on that. They weren't bad tyres, but they weren't expensive tyres. Fantastic writing. He was just an excellent writer. I mean, originally, I think the one that was meant to be Del Boy was the guy that played his nemesis in The Copper. What were his name? Slater. I think he was the original one they wanted for Del Boy. But I think he turned it down and David Jason took it. That's it, Slater. Couldn't think of name. Yeah, but he was the one intended originally for Del Boy. And you say I don't think I could have talked to him, but you don't know, he could have delivered it in a different way and he could have been better than David Jason, he could have been worse. But the biggest trouble when people say, oh, he wouldn't talk to it, is you've taken to an actor that's famous from that part. If he'd never done it and you had him, you'd have never known what David Jason was like in the part. Yeah, he was the original intended Del Boy, the guy that played Slater. Can't think of his name at the moment, it passes me. So you'd have certainly it'd have been a different Del Boy, but would it have been funnier? Would it have been not as funny? It's hard to say, isn't it? But David Jason certainly made that part his own. Certainly did. To the point you couldn't imagine anyone else doing it nowadays. But Rodney, some of the stuff he's done after. What were the one on ITV he did where, what's her name? Some Janet Dibley, was she called? Were it The Two of Us or something? About a couple that lived in I think it were a London basement flat. And they were a couple. But he's done a couple. He's done. Yeah, he was. He was very good. But he'd done sitcoms before he was in Butterflies. He was one of Wendy Craig's sons in Butterflies. So he'd already had one sitcom under his belt. And he was quite funny in that. Yeah. They've all had history in different things. Wasn't it Rodney that did the Piglet Files, or was that someone else? Like when he were a spy? The perfect Dave. Yeah, Dave. Hey, I had a woman. I were on a training course a few years ago now. Yeah, he's done that. That's good. Yeah, I were on a training course and this woman on her called me Dave for about 6 months. And I never corrected her. I just let her carry on. And got to end of it when I was signing out. She got all paperwork and said, "You called Paul." I said, "Why have I been calling you Dave for 6 months?" I went, "I don't know." She said, "Why didn't you stop me?" I said, "Couldn't be asked." just let you get on with it. Funny woman. Oh, Ronnie Barker, now we're talking. Total, absolute comedy genius. He was perfection with the English language and getting a laugh out of it. He was absolutely brilliant, Ronnie Barker. But having said that, he had his stinkers. He did have a bad one, he did. It was an unbelievable one, really. Yeah, Ronnie Barker, he did a sitcom called Clarence, and it was dire. Even for Ronnie Barker, I think it must have been one. Nurse Gladys. Ask him about the pepper. Is that 5p's or 6? And he said, and put me down for a tin of that per polish. He said, and that's one tin, not 4. Oh, he played that stuttering perfect. Because I had a mate that actually stuttered, like years ago, and he were on about his mum. And he come in and he said, it's me mum. She's just asked me to oh, fuck it. It was funny. Open all hours. See, I don't mind the still open all hours, but I don't know. I think I'd have preferred it being a different formula or whatever. I don't think it fully worked as Granville running it as an old guy. It was a bit weird. It was still watchable, but I don't think it come close to open all hours. Yeah, Trigger. My all-time favourite Trigger one was about when he talked about going away on a date. He said a girl at work asked and says, "Oh, it's good in such a place," and he said, "And I went and I enjoyed." Said, "Did you enjoy it?" Said, "Yeah." Said, "What did she say?" He said, "She weren't happy." Said, "Why weren't she happy?" Said, "Well, apparently she wanted me to take her." Yeah, Trigger, absolute star. Yeah, Johnny Vegas, yeah, good. In right circumstances, Johnny Vegas can have you doubled over. He's an absolute lunatic. Burt Kwok, I used to like him on, what do you call it? Oh, shit. Last of the Summer Wine, I like Burt Kwok on. Yeah, that's a good one. But there's so many Trigger moments that are absolute classic written lines. Like the slow burner about when he stole a pork pie. He said, I got accused by Mike of stealing a pork pie in pub. And then eventually it goes through the sketch. And then at the end of the particular sketch, he goes to Delby. Hey, you have a pork pie, Del? He said, oh, why? He said, I didn't like it. He said, I don't even like pork pies. Yeah, he didn't take her. It was funny. Yeah, funny. Oh, Trigger. Yeah. You know, I think Trigger was actually better than David Jason on that. They both did a good job, but I thought Trigger's reaction to it actually made that sketch. Him just looking round going, where the fuck's he gone? Like that. Sure, he were here a minute ago. Yeah, he was. His daughter were a lovely girl, and she actually made a film called Wish You Were Here, which is worth a watch. Yeah, drink up, Trig, we're leaving. Yeah, but look that up. Wish you were here. It was Roger Lloyd Pack's daughter that was in it. And another connection, Boise, used to, John Chalice, he used to go out with a girl that was on Up the Elephant and round the castle with Jim Davidson. She were in one of the episodes on that. Stunning looking girl. Yeah, you know, it's... I'm unsure on the wagon shed, myth. They're a lot of money, and to be honest, for what they are, I could get a tank wagon, make my own decals, and make my own. Because it's so you'd only have to. The tank wagon's white, so you can make the Peckham Spring label easy on clear decal paper. You'd only have to get an image of Google Images. For the wagons, it's black printed to print black on clear decal paper, and you can make your own of them. I can make them far cheap. I can get one of the locos for 20 quid, spray it yellow, make the decals, and well, it'd probably cost me 25 quid tops. I think they're asking, is it 60 and 70 for the loco? Yeah. No, they're dying if you don't want to make them yourself. They're a nice thing. I just think it's a lot of money for... Oh, which van shed, mate? Oh, Martin, which van were it? Not the three-wheeler Reliant, were it? Yeah, could do. Could do. Not a bad idea, Mark. An Only Fools themed one. I think that might be more in Martin's ballpark, though. You could choose your own loco, so it doesn't look like you've done a copy of the original items. Say, do a tender loco and like the bigger bogie tankers. Something a bit different. Because you'd pick up Lima bogie tankers for peanuts. Probably the old HO ones. It's alright, I'm just getting my meds, folks. Right, we're on Sunday. I'll have that one. Don't want that one, I'll have that one. I'll have that one. Andy, how did you get up there? I fell. Yeah, that sounds good, Matt. Comedy sitcoms. You could have a tanker full of porridge. What else? Tanker full of porridge, like a tit box van. Or a tit gov. Do a yellow gov with trotters on it. Ever decreasing circles, meaning the train set circle. What else could you have? Oh, there's so many you could have. The live of birds and all sorts. Four candles, flatbed, yeah. Four candles. The Norwegian blue. He's not dead. He's just shagged out after a long squawk. Oh, God, no. So, you know, the world's gone ridiculous. It's going to be such a miserable future generation. They're letting all the sour-faced lefties and liberals get too much of their own way. Half of them wouldn't know a laugh if it slapped them in face, half of them. The full-on lefties and liberals have to be some of the most boring people going. It's like all these Just Stop Oil people are starting to run them over now, throw water over them. I thought when you throw the water down, throw a bar of soap as well. Oh, they didn't be offended, Mick. Too easily, and Just Stop Oil. I'd like to see them how they think Boeing 747, well, not a Boeing 747 now. They've been, they still have them as cargo aircraft. So, yeah, I'd like to see them work out how to have a battery aircraft like a 747. You've got no chargers mid-Atlantic. You know, I saw that, Shedmer. What a set of... I'm not going to say it, because I don't want to get banned from here as much as I get banned from Facebook. I'm almost constantly in Facebook. Well, I've done well recently, but I'm almost constantly in Facebook jail. But how the hell do people get offended at a young girl painting an Hornby wagon pink? They may come in the thousands. It's not as if they're going extinct and you need a breeding pair. They must be absolute idiots. Because she turned them into pigs. I thought that were a brilliant video, that the pigs. Really tickled me. But I don't get people who can get offended at a young girl doing something like that. Yeah, I just want to bitch slap them if I'm honest. And say, for God's sake, get a life. If you're going to complain about something, complain about kids getting stabbed on London streets. Be more productive against proper issues. You know, Just Stop Oil, they've not a clue, they're brainless morons. If they stopped oil, big percent of medicines wouldn't be made. Paints wouldn't be made. Plastics wouldn't be made. What do they think they're going to make the computer and phone cases out of? Bamboo? Even if they made them out of bamboo, you need resin, which comes from oil products and stuff. They're just absolute morons. You know, it's just idiotic. Ruining wagons, it's unreal. They're made in their absolute thousands. Yeah, I don't blame you. I'd have done it again, Martin. They're idiots. They're made in the thousands. They're not going to go extinct. You don't need a breeding pair of them to start them up again. I'm more amazed they actually... I've got one down here somewhere in a box. There we go. I've got a few of them. Because I'm going to be doing an oil train for my layout, weathering old tanks and everything. I've got some of them myself, and they're wanting 10 quid for something like that now. Just a bog standard wagon. It were weathered and that, but it were poorly done, so I've stripped all the paint off it. I'm going to well, I don't even know whether I'll redecorate, because most of the ones around here in Manchester, oil tankers, they were that dirty you couldn't see what were underneath. They were great, Andy. It were fantastic. I really enjoyed it. It was something different, nice that, you know, kids today, they get stick for not doing something. Then when one does, you get a miserable get telling them they're ruining wagons. Go and stick your head in a mincer. Yeah, I've got to admit, I'm not going to lie. Where are they? I ain't going to lie. The devil meant come out of me when I saw the video. And I'm not doing it on wagons, but I've bought a bag of them to go around defacing posters out on the streets. Get a tube of glue and deface posters. Look, it gives somebody a smile in the mundane of the life. Start again. In the mundane lives. Marx, it probably is. Probably around. I've got 6 still on, so there's a good chance he's still around, Shedmer. Yeah, Martin, I just don't get it. She does some lovely videos. She's a creative kid. I enjoy them when I see them by Evie. Done stuff. Gives me a nice chuckle. Cheers, Andy. Hey, oh, what was that? But ding! You know, people need to wind it. I got somebody on my diecast channel because I restore old diecast cars, like Dinkies, Corgis, Matchbox. I've not done one for a while. I stripped the paint off the poly still. I may put the paint back. I may polish all the chrome on that and put the paint back on it tomorrow. I want to get some projects I've got going off the bench. Give myself a bit of room on bench. But get that one up and running for my diecast channel. But yeah, you're right. It's model railways. What business do they think? I had a bloke come on and he says, "You've devalued that." I said it weren't worth anything in the first place. I said it was an old, I think it was an old Matchbox car I'd done. I said there were no paint left on it. I said it were trashed. I said I've took it all off, stripped the paint, cleaned it, filed all the mould lines off it, painted it, painted details on, lacquered it so it looks nice. And I said, and technically, it's still worth nothing, so what's wrong? I said, there's plenty of more mint ones out there in cases. Yeah. Oh, you little star. Yeah, I can send you it through on email. If you send me your email in a PM, Martin, and I'd be delighted to have it. Oh, lovely, Martin. It'll be appreciated. Well, I've got something different I'm planning on doing this week. I've got some. Let's have a look. They won't need a lot of work, but I've got some East German models, like the equivalent of the British Railways warship. They were called Gutsold models or whatever. I'll tell you in a minute. Yeah, Gutsold. They're called GUTZOLD. And the quality made, they're Eastern German, but the quality made the bumpers, the buffers, totally different idea away from Hornby. If you look at them, they're actually rubber. Hang on. Get over to that, move that. Get over to that side. They're actually rubber. You can push them around and they go back to where they were. But they have a different idea for a motor and they're quite a bit different to British stuff. I've got two of them. I've sent off the stuff to repair the bogie on that, like brass tubing and a brass washer. I'm going to solder together, drill into that, then put it in with what's it called? I forget the name of it. It's an epoxy glue, but it's a solid one. I can't. Name escapes me. Oh, cool. Sounds good. Yeah, it's so much fun getting something when you just get it to go. Mark, you little rascal. I was just going to say, well, don't put your address on a feed. That's on it, you little rascal. Then I read it fully and started chuckling. Yeah, everybody's is different. That's one thing I love about this hobby. Everybody does different things. There's a guy, I don't click on his videos too often, but he's an American guy, and I just look at what he's done. And fair play to him, he's done a nice little layout. But he's done everything. He's in his own fictional livery. I think it's called a Frater Valley or whatever. And he's done a good job of them. He sends all his locals away to be professionally painted. And I don't think he paints them himself. He sends them away. But he has some nice stock. He's even gone down to the trouble of having his own delivery vans for the railway company and their own, Bachmann do the trucks, the model railway trucks. He's put them on in his own railways scheme. Anyway, for tonight, I might be thinking of calling it a night for tonight because we're on an hour and 6 minutes here, and I think we did 40 minutes on the other, so it's about an hour and 3/4. Yeah, it's all right. Nipping Sam, thinking of shutting down, Martin. Shut down for tonight because we're on an hour and 3/4, and I'm getting a bit of an headache with sun and everything now. I've been allowed out on my own again in sun. So yeah, a bit of an headache, and I want to chill now and have a look at my results for photography and videoing for the day. Consider like, what do you call it? Consider how to edit the video up. Because some of it I've got the barrel organs playing, the steam barrel organs. So I've got the music for that there. Some interesting stuff in it. Some nice photos I've got. Right, so all it takes for now is I'll say tatty pie. I'll be off next week, so same time next week, folks. Yeah, I've enjoyed it again. It's been good. I'll probably stop on longer, but I'm getting an headache now. All the best to everyone. Tatty pie. I'll just wait for Shedmouth to get back. I think he's gone getting a brew. I wouldn't like to bail out without Martin knowing what's going on. Because he's a good supporter of stuff in hobby. But yeah. When you get that sort of warm forehead and sort of radiation feel, you think like you've got radiation sickness from sun. I live in Manchester. It weren't even sunny, for Christ's sake. It was just a bit brighter than normal. Mind you, my normal colour's listed as milk bottle. Yeah, I was just waiting for you to get back, Martin, so I could say tatty pie. Black coffee, no sugar. Me mate drinks that, Mark. I'm on posh teas at the moment, like Darjeeling and shit. I have it with milk though. Sod that. I don't know why you drink that shit without milk. You're not meant to have it with milk or sugar, just a square of lemon. Sod that. I have milk and sugar in it. I do like a bit of Earl Grey though. It did come out in 1976. And when it came out, I was in London. It was even bloody hotter down there. Never forget me mum walking round outside Buckhouse. Typical Scots lady. Still had a woolly hat on and bloody big thick winter coat. Bloody summer of 76. What was that about? Yeah, I enjoyed having a chat. It's been good. Anyway, I'll say tatty pie for now. Now you've all got back from where you are, so you know I'm going. And catch you next week. I'm off next week. So it'll be next Sunday again. I'm not in work. So, tatty pie, everyone. Tatty pie. Tatty pie.